How's it going, guys? This is a video response waiting for Junior to get out of school. This is a video response for Ruben. I saw your video, and about the 3 seconds I had before I ran out to the garage to wet sand the fender to come get Junior. So, I figure I'll give you a list of a couple of things, do's and don'ts, okay? So it's easier if I do it this way than text you, because then it gets a little discombobulated, especially at the speed I text with my fat fingers, okay? 1, don't take that plug out of the intake. Give up on that quickly. Hopefully you do before you get this video. That'll be the end of the intake. It will not come out. I guarantee you that plug will not come out. There is a plug on either side of the head. The header flange should have a hole in it or a notch for it. Of course, a temperature gauge is good. A temperature gauge isn't needed for what we're going to do. I'll bring a thermometer. I'll know what the engine temperature is. But yeah, you're about to open up the broken can of worms again, and we don't want to deal with that. As for the radiator hoses, just go in there and order a set of radiator hoses for like a 1975 Nova with a 305 in it. That's it, upper and lower. Don't buy universal hoses unless you have to. I went to half a dozen stores for the upper hose for my wagon and Junior's car, which is the same hose. And everybody kept telling me they don't make one that's a universal one. And I wound up at, I'm gonna say AutoZone. And AutoZone was able to get me the hose. And the hose was cheap. The hose was like $5, $7 for the upper hose. Molded. Looks right. You know, they might ask you, does it have AC or non-AC? On an AMC, it's shaped totally different if you have AC. The AC fits both of them, but the non-AC one only fits non-AC. The non-AC one goes straight up to the radiator. The other one goes around the compressor. So, see what they offer. Same with the low hose. They're going to offer you a hose. Try to stay away from the universal ones unless you have to. They just don't give that nice finished appeal. Plus they're more money. What was I going to say? You got coolant. It's only a gallon of coolant. I would add a little more at this point. I don't know how much coolant your system takes, but I'd mix that coolant 50-50 and see if you need another gallon in there. What was I going to say? You got to get the timing tab. We talked about that. You have to measure your harmonic balancer, not your pulley, because the tab has to sit right against the harmonic balancer. And look where your old tab is if you still have the front cover. And you got to make sure the other one lands in the same place, or else we won't be able to time the motor up with the distributor and it'll start it. What was I going to say? You have to get, CompCam makes it, a lot of people make it, you need the flat tappet cam break-in additive. Like I said, I have oil for you. I'll bring up oil. You got to get a filter. Doesn't matter what type of filter you get, because after the motors run, the filter gets changed anyway. I'm going to bring up Junior's carburetor, because that's the only one I got going at this point. And I'm going to bring up those 2 tubes and the 2 mufflers that I used to bring up to break in Junior's motor. Like I said, that's all Junior stuff, so trying to think. I'm not worried about a fan, but you have to have, I'll probably bring one of those not big, but one of those industrial fans. I'll borrow it from a friend, which should be more than enough. But if not, you just need a working hose. So I don't know if your hose is outside your house or inside your house. If it's outside your house, my suggestion is you take it off your house and put it inside your house, so it goes below above 30 degrees. So when we need it, we can turn it on. We're probably better off doing this in the garage you're in, not in the other garage, because there's going to be a lot of smoke, a lot of fumes, and a lot of crap. Even though we're going to back the car halfway out, the garage is definitely going to fill up with smoke. Regardless from the headers, from all the times you touched it with your hands, all the times you touched it at your hands with dim candlelight around it, you know, all stuff like that. You need tranny fluid. I don't have Dextron. That's what you need. So how much you need, I don't know. I don't know, because you changed the converter. I don't know. I would say to have 5 quarts. At least 5 quarts. Because when you fire it up, you can't run the tranny with no fluid in it. That front pump is working. We don't need the power steering hooked up. Obviously not, because if it isn't hooked up right, that's going to be a problem. It's going to smoke the pump. We do need the alternator hooked up. We need a belt around the alternator, around the water pump, and around the crank, because the water pump has to spin. So I don't know if you flipped the alternator around, but in the earlier videos we spotted it was upside down. You had it upside down mounted, which is no big deal. It doesn't have to be wired, okay, but it has to be there, so there could be a fan belt on there. And once again, you just go to the store, go to AutoZone. Fan belts are $5 at AutoZone and $6 at AutoZone. If you go to Advanced Auto, they're $15 for the same belt and up. And just ask for a belt. Just pick a 75. It doesn't matter. Pick a 75, you know, with your engine in there, V8, whatever it is, and bring it home and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, see how bad it doesn't fit. And when they go in the bins, each one has an increment of like a ½ inch. So, I know where I go, they let me go back there and go through all the belts. And I tell them the same thing every time. Yes, I'll put them back in the spot they belong. Meanwhile, none of them are in the spot they belong. I wind up putting them in there like a librarian. But with that, yeah. Oh, and some kind of spark plugs and sparkle wires. I don't know what you have for wires. I don't know if you have the same wires. You need wires. Even if you got to tie them away, they can't touch the headers. Even if you did the temporary sparkle wires that came with it, and you got to use a wire to keep them away from the header, just till we break it in, that's fine also. And then you could get whatever wires you want at your leisure. But you definitely need spark plugs that are in that motor are from a Toyota. They're the wrong type of plugs, period. Yours should have a little copper gasket on the end. Those were tape and C plugs. That's why they were put in there. They were not put in there tight at all. But we needed something to fire it up that day. As for spark plugs, NGK, Nip and Denso, my first 2 choices. Then from there, whatever you want, just don't pick Champion. Okay, so if you want to get Autolite or ACs, you're fine. I don't like Bosch spark plugs either, but that's personal preference. There's a difference between not liking them and never using them. I'll never use a Champion plug. That's the difference. Made a lot of money on Champion plugs, but then I'll never use a Champion plug. Don't worry about feeding me. As for heat, last time you had the one heater with the propane bottle, you had a second propane bottle. If you do have the 2 propane bottles, that would probably work out well, because I'll see if I can grab a second heater to bring up there, or possibly a third. I got my kerosene one that isn't going to do shit in that garage by itself, but if I can grab another propane head from Steve, maybe with the 3 of them going in there, we can get it to 31 degrees until we open up the garage door. But then the excitement makes you warm, so it doesn't matter. you need gas, and more than a gallon. It's going to take a couple of gallons to break in this motor. I've fallen into that trap before, where I've run out of gas while I was breaking in a motor. If the gas in your tank is still good, that's fine. If not, we just need a gas can, and you let me know and I'll bring some hose. I like it better when it's in the fuel tank. Just one less thing to go wrong and melt and spray and shoot the garage into fireballs. That's why I wasn't too keen on when I started up Junior's motor that day where I had the gas can. It was far enough away, but anything could happen when you're running around. You trip on the hose, next thing you know, it sprays over, hits the exhaust, and everything's done. Not that would happen. I think that's it. I mean, if I come up with anything more, I'm trying to keep the list easy and inexpensive, and then allow you to just do things later on. That's why I said I'm not worried about any wiring, just as long as you have the wire from the starter and the wire from the thing hooked to the battery. That's all I care about. I don't even care if it's hooked to the key. These are all things that, as a advancing automotive technician that you've become, these are all things that you're going to do, even if you need guidance. So, yeah, and trust me, you'll feel better after you do them. Just make sure you have fire on the car. But no, seriously, the only thing, so we'll go down the list real quick. I need a positive and negative cable to that brand new battery, okay? And if it comes down to what size cable do you need, okay, look at your old ones. So I know that bracket that you got from Steve had a cable on there. Put it to the battery. If it seems like the right length, just get the same one with the end on it. Once again, AutoZone, cheapest for that, without a doubt. Cheapest, hands down, to get battery cables with the ends already on them. As for the other one, the starter's in the same place. It's just a matter of it clearing the header. Some 6-cylinders, the wire just like drapes like a clothesline. But yeah, if it needs to be longer, take a measurement. Spark plugs, tranny fluid, some kind of spark plug wires that work. I don't care if they're 40 different colors and off your lawnmower, as long as they clear the headers. So go to the spark plugs that are on your 6-cylinder, okay, because that's an HEI also. I know most of those wires are short, but maybe there's just something, if you need something more, you can do whatever. We just got to keep them off the header tubes. Like I said, I have the carburetor. I'll bring a carburetor gasket. I'll bring some studs and nuts. I'll bring some mufflers and some tubes. It might fall off while I was running, but we'll see if we can keep them on there, because I won't clamp them. Then we'll bungee cord them there like I did for Junior. I did something. No, I used wire. I wired from the engine mount to it so it wouldn't slip off, and it also lit the wood on fire, but that's okay.